We're no longer just talking about diversity as race, ethnicity, gender. We're talking about diversity as veteran status, your economic status. A chunk of my research and my background has been on economic inequality, poverty, especially as it relates to women and families of color, and how that even translates as a single parenthood and so forth. So those are elements of diversity. Your sexuality, your religion, your language, your physical health, your mental health, even appearance. All of these things we are pieces of our difference, our diversity of thought. If you think about it, just take all components of diversity out of the equation and just think about yourself as an individual. If you are not having the best day or something has happened in your life and you go into a work environment, you may not be your best self that day. You're going to do your work and you're going to be productive, and no one's implying that you wouldn't, give at least 80% or something. I don't know, whatever. Imagine walking into an organization every day feeling like you don't fit in, you don't belong, or you have to try harder. And it's not even personal, it's just from the organizational vibe. So how does that impact your productivity? I think we can all get there from an empathy standpoint. Even if you are part of the majority that's in the organization, you can get there and say, well, what if I didn't feel included here every day? What if I did feel on guard every day? How productive would I be? How would I navigate? How does that affect my work environment? From a profit standpoint, it also matters. And I think we're hearing a lot more conversations about this because companies are realizing that it matters. And here are some of the costs and rewards of not doing this. Why would companies focus on diversity and inclusion when they have so many other things to spend money on? They've got market risk, they've got infrastructure, they've got all these things. Why would this be a priority? And it can't not be a priority. It just cannot. They actually can't afford not to focus on it anymore. The more racially, ethnically diverse your leadership is, the more gender diverse your leadership is, the more money the company makes. Mm-hmm. So there's a higher profit margin, and it's actually a higher profit margin the more racially and ethnically diverse you are. Gender, you see an increase, but it's not as much of as a weight. So we know that having a more diverse, especially leadership, and Crystal, I think you said something earlier, like, I'm not seeing anyone that looks like me. So if you're not seeing anyone that's in this position that looks like me or you identify with, and how does that impact the organization in the long term? So why are they leaving? Management is, of course, sort of the number one, leadership and management, but stereotyping, exclusion, unwanted sexual attention. We don't have enough tech workers to fill the jobs that we need. Racial and gender diversity in tech, they get to choose you. We are not seeing the hiring rates for women in tech, racial diversity in tech, to match up with the population numbers.
I'm so glad you're sharing this information.
Unconscious bias, it's involuntary, it's literally what it says, it's unconscious. You're not processing that you're having these thoughts, but it just plays out. And again, the focus is what is the intent, what is the impact of that? You may not intend to have a bias or a preconceived notion about a group or a person or whatever, but what is the impact that comes about?